its thing. It's gonna do its thing. No, it didn't do its thing. Okay, great. 3, 2, 1. Hello, welcome to the Completely Inappropriate podcast. I am Frank, along with our guest co-hosts.
Alyssa.
Yeah, her. Anyways, what happened? Yeah, you can catch us on Instagram under CI Podcast and the Twitterverse under Completely Inapt. You can email us with questions, comments, concerns over at completelyinappropriatepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube and BitChute under Completely Inappropriate Podcast. But for the BitChute, you gotta throw in some underscores. Somebody didn't think that one through. I'm not gonna say it was Frank, but somebody. Anyway, so yeah, Alyssa, we got to know a bit about you, but what the audience didn't know is that we just reconnected a few days ago because you hit me up wondering. Okay, here's the thing. Fucking, we stopped talking because we stopped talking, right? And fucking, I didn't have your number anymore. At least I don't think I did. Like, I deleted the fucking text messages and everything. And suddenly I got a fucking text about, hey, is it cool to fucking, what was it? Is
Reading
it
that
cool?
song at night.
Yeah, at night. And I'm like, there's only one person who would ask me this.
Hell.
Yeah. So yeah, we got into that fucking about, and then I had mentioned, oh, I have a bruise where I got my shot. Blood drawn. I got blood drawn. And I have a bruise now. But yeah, there was that fucking the Necronomicon, and I'm like, there's only one person who would fucking ask me about fucking the Necronomicon, and it was you. And I had told you how, there's a difference in Necronomicons, that most of them are fake. Those are okay to read at night. But the real one, the real Necronomicon, you shouldn't read out loud. And that would be...
There's no audience. At least
Yeah.
at 6 in the morning, there's no audience. Hopefully. Sometimes people hit me up at night for the hotel.
Yeah, so the real Necronomicon is a Necronomicon by Simon, which is all black, and it says Necronomicon in bold white letters, and it has a sigil drawn, I think it's pink. It's either pink or purple. It's pink, right?
It's my favorite color, but I believe it was pink, yeah, on the book.
Yeah. It's a pink sigil on the book. That's the one by Simon. And I was telling you how we tried doing an episode on that on H.P. Lovecraft. How is it fact or fiction? Yeah, and so then because Tony went ahead and told the audience it's all fake, none of it is real, I went ahead and stepped aside onto my onto my YouTube channel, which I haven't uploaded anything on in the past 3 months, but you can catch it. Catch me doing spooky shit. Find me under Frank Bragi-son, Bragi son, Bragi, like my patron god. But anyways, what happened? Yeah, so I went ahead and I used my notes, or I spoke about my notes on video, and yeah, the idea was to get the audience to come to their own conclusion, whether it's fact or fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Right. No, I had my notes. God damn it! I should have busted out my notes, but it was gonna take a while. But yeah. So you were telling me about another book.
Yeah, so right now I'm waiting for this book to come out, but it's like them clickbaits be like, oh, hey, you're not even telling me when the book's coming out, but I actually saw some books to read while I'm at work because I won't be bored and stuff. And this book came across at me. It's called The Bastard Gentleman. I'm like, that is interesting. It's actually a series, so it's probably not called The Bastard Gentleman, but it's probably like The Bastard Gentleman part so and so. Something along it. Anyway, it looks cool. I believe it has to do with horse thieves, if I'm not mistaken, in holding cast of time. So that should be really interesting, following up to our previous episode. So yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, horse thieves. I guess that's a theme this week. Horse thieves.
Yes!
Yeah, I wonder if there's any horse thieves memes. If not, I'll make one up and I'll post it up.
Yep.
Horse thieves. Well, Billy the Kid was a horse thief. Or maybe that was just in the movie. Because, yeah, in the movie, he's like, I never stole a horse from a guy I didn't like. Yeah. But, speaking of which, speaking of Billy the Kid, in my hometown, I don't even know if it's actually Stephenville or not, but I think it's in the same county. But we covered this on Halloween, a place called McDowell's Hole.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and what it is I think there's a bridge now, because I remember my aunt telling me about how if you turn off your car, turn everything off when you're there, you'll feel somebody walking around you.
Mm.
Yeah, and that would be what was her name? Betty?
Yeah, I
Uh
think.
yeah, somebody. That would be the lady that was fucking drowned in the river. I think god damn it, I should have brushed up on this. But the story goes that shit, I feel bad because I don't remember her name. Like I made such a big deal about it and I don't even fucking remember her name. Was it Patty?
I really think it was, honestly, dude. I mean, I remember the story vaguely from a while back. So yeah, I got like good memory, guys. I don't know what to do with it.
Oh, so you asked about McDowell's Hole when you were back in Dallas?
No, I remember our conversation from a long time
Oh.
back.
Oh, okay. Okay. But yeah, so for those of you that didn't listen to the fucking Halloween episode, what happened? It was Jenny. Damn it, I think it was Jenny. Yeah, so what happened was that there was a family. I forgot their last name, but there was a family, and the dad went off to I think it was fucking what's it called? Jury duty, I think it was. But he went off, and then when the guy came back, it shit, I don't remember the story. But the guy came back, and the fucking town was mad because this guy. Long story short, goddamn, I'm fumbling everywhere. Long story short, fucking yeah, this guy killed Jenny and the baby, and yeah, Jenny came back to haunt the guy. The guy ended up killing himself because of the ghost of Jenny, and yeah, Jenny still roams the fucking hole, the lake. No, it's not a lake, the river. It's a river or a ravine. I don't know. It's a body of water, but
Like,
yeah, so yeah, exactly. So that's what we were saying fucking then that every town has a La Llorona.
yep.
Yeah, and so that was La Llorona when I was growing up because when I was a baby we lived behind it. McDowell's hole was in my backyard. So
Mm.
and then my mother was saying, "Oh, that because she didn't find out until fucking 10, 20 years ago." And she was like, "Oh, well, that makes sense why it was always fucking scary because fucking Jenny was always trying to fucking get me because I was a fucking baby."
That's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, some of that spooky shit. Isn't there something spooky, an urban legend down in fucking Westlaco?
You know, I mean, I can't really place anything. It's weird. I mean, this town to me, as long as I've been here, it's been quite boring. So I've really never brushed up. Although I did hear some stuff growing up out here about the school I went to. It's not even there anymore. I mean, it is, but they changed the name and everything. Supposedly, the lady built the place brick by brick, solely alone, and her name was Louise Black. She still was supposedly haunting that school even when I was attending, and I was like, I don't know, kid, 10, 11, something like that. I've never seen this, but I've heard. That's all I got, man.
Yeah, it's okay. I need to brush up on my scary stories too. Uh no, so then I went to Sharyland, I'm sure you remember, and every time I pass by my old high school, I always point out to my sister or whoever's there, but it's usually my sister. I always point out that gym right there, that gym right there is haunted. And yeah, it got to a point where last time she was like, "Yes, I get it. It's fucking haunted." But yeah, coincidentally, it's called Castleman Gym.
Oh, I've been there, like not there, but every time I go to my granddad, I see that place all up on that street. Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember I never fucking got the story, but apparently a girl died. That was the closest thing to a story I got. A girl died under the bleachers there, and yeah, and so then that little girl haunts the fucking gym.
Hmm.
Yeah. Which,
Interesting.
yeah, which coincides with another story about one of the high schools at PSJA. I think it's the one close by, close by where my parents live. That what is it? PSJA Bears? I think it's PSJA Bears. That a girl died, but I don't think it was a gym. I think it was just in the fucking in school grounds. And so then there was this ghost hunting team. I
Oh,
stumbled onto them. Yeah, I stumbled onto them completely by accident. But there was this ghost hunting team from down here that went in and they did the Ghost Adventures type investigation where they got a recorder and they asked a few questions and they caught a disembodied voice of a girl and that apparently she's the one that makes the fucking lights flicker. Which, now that I remember, there's been a lot of weird shit going on in this place. Like my fucking, um, I don't want to say over at the VA, I don't want to say that my visual hallucinations have come back because I'm still trying to confirm. But there has been some spooky shit going on here at my fucking mother's house. Um, what happened? Yeah, the light in the dining room keeps fucking flickering for
oh,
some fucking reason. It's always like we check the fucking electrical current and everything. It's running fine. It's all fine and dandy. And we fucking switched out the light bulb, I think, and it's still fucking flickering. And we're like, what the fuck? Everything checks out, but it's still fucking flickering. And then recently, this past week or so, the TV started misbehaving. Yeah, and we keep thinking it's the fucking remote that the button would get stuck, but then it acted up to where it's not just the volume that goes up or down, but it's also the select menu pops up and it starts selecting things by itself, and it doesn't always fucking click on it, but the few times there's very few times, but it does actually fucking the TV by itself clicks on that highlighted thing. And so yeah, now nobody watches fucking TV in the living room because the TV's acting up. And we're like, what the fuck is it? You know, because it's one thing for the fucking lights to be flickering and for us to fucking conclude that there's nothing going on, but the dining room and the living room, they're not separated by a wall. So it's all one elongated fucking living room. And and yeah, so then maybe you could say that there's something wrong with that room, but again, it's not one room. It's two separate rooms. It just
mm,
needs a wall to divide it. But yeah. And what else? And there was also talks about actually here a few Actually, no, not even a few blocks away. Like, I'll save that story for after this. But here around the corner, there's a fucking there's a used car shop place type thing. It's not they don't sell used cars, they sell used parts. So yeah. But it's a privately owned business. You know, it's an independent owner. It's not a chain, it's not like AutoZone or anything, but it is fucking independent. And they have trucks show up every now and then to pull fucking deliveries, right? And yeah, so then there was this guy. Okay, no, it started off with me, but I think my brother was first. But that I drove by, like I was coming back to the house, and around that corner, right here by the ravine, I saw somebody fucking walking the street, but he didn't look in good shape. He looked fucking his skin was kind of greenish, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then yeah, I told my brother, I'm like, there was this guy fucking kind of greenish. It was fucking weird. And he's like, oh, you saw him too? And I'm like, the fuck? And he's like, no, because I was in the car with your father. I was driving, and he was talking to me, and I saw a guy uh, that was actually here. I think in one of the houses. Maybe it was a separate incident, but yeah, that he saw a guy. No, yeah, he saw a guy up here in the street corner at the light. Um, he saw a guy that was lost, but then he locked eyes with my brother, kind of like saying, "Oh, you saw me." And then that night or some other time, it turns out that there was a guy that disappeared, and that guy was actually all fucking a la Scarface, but cut to pieces by a chainsaw in
Oh,
that fucking shop.
holy shit. Man, that sounds like American Horror Story back in the 1950s. With, I mean, I don't think it was 1950s, but Evan Peters is playing this dude, and there was racism. Because racism is a thing, which is ridiculous. I'm tired of racism, but neither here nor there. Focus on horrors, and yeah. So aliens and weird shit, and I think there's like a conversion camp or something in the season too. I can't even remember what happened in that season, but yeah, that sounds like that almost. Like I bet you the clothes was just dead ringer for Evan Peters. Bet you.
Yeah, there's this one American Horror Story season, the only season I saw that was, I think I told you this. Like every American Horror Story season is based on an actual fucking
Yeah,
story, like a fucking urban legend. That's why American Horror Story. That's why the
of course.
fucking name. Yeah.
We're
And
not paid for this, but we do like it.
yeah, and there's this one episode or one season that I saw, the only one that I saw, that was a house in Louisiana, down in New Orleans.
How?
Yeah, and so then I would tell people, and I think you were one of the people I told that that house that they filmed, the house that it was about, that house at one point belonged to Nicolas Cage. Like
Yeah,
he, yeah, like he
and
bought the house and whatever, and he ended up having to sell it because like when he bought before he bought it, they were telling him that the house is cursed, blah blah blah. And I guess he was one of those that there's no such thing as curses, there's no such things as ghosts. Then he bought it, and then his career went down the fucking toilet. So then he ended up fucking selling it, and what happened? Yeah, and then that's the reason why for a while you saw Nicolas Cage's face plastered all over fucking Netflix because he had to take any job he fucking could to fucking get
like,
back from his fucking debts.
oh no, man. I mean, speaking of New Orleans, I actually did go there from Party Girl, and it was a shit, by the way. I didn't actually get to do all the things I wanted. It was a complicated relationship with a friend of mine, and basically just complicated. Again, story of my life. But yeah, so we're there, and I did read. They have like stories posted everywhere. I never got to go to these houses or even the graveyard, which was really sad. I spent $20 on a strip joint, so it was me or them. So it's like, I'm gonna pick them. So yeah, that happened, and I wanted to go check out the graveyard, but again, $20. Maybe I'll go next year. I don't know yet. Some guy did actually ask me, "Girl, come by next year." I'm like, there's a 1 in a jillion chance I'll run into you unless we hit up the same bar. And to be honest, I don't even remember what bar that was. I was drinking too much that night. But back to the stories. I heard about this house that had blood leaking through it, and you know, people kept buying and buying and buying this house, and they had to keep selling and selling this house because somebody did get murdered there. And they left boxes of the remains in the fridge. Some Jeffrey Dahmer shit right up in that bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they just closed off the second floor or something, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I mean, NOLA's like hoodoo voodoo central, yo. It's like, don't fuck with them. Shoot, I even had to like buy one of these just to go. I was so scared someone was gonna give me a bad eye. I like, oh shit, I need one of them to travel in. Yeah, and then there's the shop. There's this particular shop. I don't remember what it was. I think it's Madame Laveau's or yeah, something. The head voodoo chick out there from ancient times who was in a fight with Madame LaLaurie. So, oh, Marie Laveau. Yeah, that's who she is. You step into her shop, you better buy whatever you pick up. I mean, it could be a gimmick, y'all, but I mean, do you really want to risk that bad juju following you? I wouldn't fuck with that shit. But I did buy some cool shit from oh wait, there it is. Yeah, this corner right here is pretty legit. I like the back though because it's like a compass type thing. It's actually really pretty and yeah. Marie Laveau. Don't fuck with shit, man.
Yeah, wasn't she in American Horror Story, or is it somebody else?
She was. Along with, like I said, Madame LaLaurie, because she messed up her lover. Seriously, she freaking fucked up his shit, like his face. And Madame LaLaurie was kind of like a bitch. I mean, hey, just stay the fuck away from me again. And yeah, so she was brutal. She had slaves and she abused the crap out of them. So she fucked with Marie Laveau's lover though. Ooh, dude. Oh, dude. That's why they got into this like contest of butting heads, which is so bad. So supposedly she's still buried near there, but I mean, like I said, guys, I didn't go to check it out. I didn't even get to check it out. There was a line, $20 admission fee, and by the way, y'all, you can't cross through there during the year or something. It's kind of ass backwards. Like you really have to always pay to even get admitted to that cemetery, I believe. It might be the other way around, but I know for a fact they don't let people cross. Oh, I guess they don't let them cross during the holidays, or they do if you're a native. If you're a tourist, forget it. You're paying.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was just saying, y'all should check out Mardi Gras if you haven't. It's pretty legit, and honestly, I didn't actually even do anything out there. Like, as far as everyone assumed you flash people to be, did not have to do that. Not even once. I just got beat.
Oh, well, yeah, that's good to know for our female fucking audience.
Just saying, y'all, you can do the bend and snap like Legally Blonde, and you'll get some beats. I know I did that. That's not all I did. I got beat.
Yeah. What the fuck else? So the other thing that I said I was gonna mention, I just remembered. I'm like, oh shit, that's right. Was that there was a case down here, like in the neighborhood, where I came home and I saw an ambulance, and yeah, and I'm like, oh, somebody's having a heart attack, I guess. And my brother's like, oh, somebody died. And I'm like, how do you know? And the guy's like, oh, because I just saw a guy fucking uh walking on the fucking lawn of our fucking uh walking on the lawn of our neighbor, that fucking house. Um he saw a guy on the lawn in the house that was looking all lost. Um that again fucking saw my brother and fucking made eye contact, when was surprised that it was like, oh fuck, so you can see me. But yeah, if you see a fucking pattern in this, the thing is that if you really pay attention to yourself, you'll start to pick up a few things. And once you pick up those few things, like if you're really intuitive, that the keyword intuitive with what you're picking up, then you'll open yourself to other things. This is why meditation is important. Why they tell you to meditate every fucking day, so that you can open your third eye. And then of course there's there's a fucking word on the street that the kundalini is bad for you. I'm like, it's not that it's bad for you. It's that fucking once you open your third eye, you better be fucking ready for the flood that's gonna fucking flow into that fucking part of your fucking anatomy. Like, you know how in Doctor Strange, fucking the ancient one places her thumb on Doctor Strange's fucking forehead. Well, that right there is the fucking that's where the third eye is located, where she placed her thumb. And everything that he fucking goes through in that sequence, in that scene, that's kind of the over, like, not to that extent, but that does show that there's an overflow that comes in when you open your third eye. Like, not all at once, like with Doctor Strange, but yeah, you start seeing the fucking world differently once your third eye is open, and you start seeing things. And yeah, and then the other thing that I just remembered with the whole you start seeing things, that I was at Robbie, our previous guest, one of our previous guests. I was at his place fucking late one night, because he was like, yeah, I don't want to be alone, whatever, because he was going through his shit. And his dog Athena puts her snout fucking behind the fucking curtain and on the fucking glass, right on the window, and she starts barking, right? And he's all, Athena. And then she goes at the window again and she starts barking. And he's like, Athena, Athena, behave. And then she goes again and she starts barking. And he's like, Athena, what the fuck? so then so then he gets up and he looks behind the curtain, right? He looks through the window and he's like, Athena, you're freaking me out because dogs can see ghosts. And I just bust out laughing. Like, oh wow, Big Bad Marine is afraid of a little ghost.
Hey man, everyone got fears, man. Don't judge.
Yeah. Yeah, like fucking dolls, for fucking one. We were talking about this fucking how the dolls back in the day were fucking creepy, because you'd lay them down and then you'd sit them back up and they'd open their eyes.
Oh yeah, dude, I had some of those.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit you see in fucking Child's Play and shit.
Valley of the Dolls.
Valley of the Dolls. I remember, but I haven't seen that fucking movie in forever. I should probably look it up. Maybe it's on the Netflix somewhere. Oh, and I found out because fucking fucking going back to fucking the birthday week. The day after my birthday, the fucking cause that was a Tuesday, my birthday's on a Monday. The fucking Bill and Ted fucking trailer dropped, and I came to find out that Bill and Ted is on BitChute. Probably shouldn't have said that on here, but yeah, it's on fucking BitChute. You can check it out. For those of you wondering where I got the whole be excellent to each other from, like I mentioned it in the fucking previous episode, but yeah, Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. Yeah, and then when I saw the fucking trailer, like when it dropped, fucking Bill is all be excellent to each other, and then when Ted fucking put his hand on his chest, like I heard Tony and be excellent and find your happy, find your happy, and no, and then he said and party on, dudes, and I'm like fuck yeah, that made me so fucking happy. I don't know why seeing Bill and Ted trailer. Yeah, that was probably why with the whole fucking be excellent to each other shit. But no. Anyways, back to the creepy shit.
Creepypasta.
So, yeah. Well, creepypasta is something like Slender Man. It's like a fucking urban legend on the internet.
Yep.
Yeah. And apparently there's many fucking Slender Man fucking movies or movies based on Slender Man. And there was this one recently. I don't remember where I saw it. I think it is called The Slender Man or The Rise of the Slender Man. I don't know. I'll fucking post it when I fucking find it. It's probably on HBO Max. I don't know. But there's several movies based on fucking Slender Man. Like what's that movie? It's not the Babadook. It's the other one. Some fucking British movie because the Babadook is Australian. Anyways, well, there's a scene where this guy comes out of the fucking a British Jack in the Box, I guess, the little fucking carousel that fucking spins. He comes out of there and he's a tall figure and a very slender man. When my sister saw that a few years ago, she was a lot younger. Yeah.
Christmas, by the way? Like, is it a Christmas movie? Because I'm thinking Krampus for some reason. I don't know why.
No, this was I don't remember. I just remember that scene where the fucking guy came out, fucking, and my sister was like, "Oh, that's Slender Man," and I'm like, "No, maybe it's based on Slender Man, or maybe Slender Man is based on it, but no, that's
I
not."
mean, you've heard about like a guy appearing in the middle of the road, right? Like this is Texas legend, you know. For this dude, he's real freaking tall, and you're just cruising, and you know, he just pops out of nowhere, man. Crazy. Like for some reason, I picture him in like a big old chair, like Lincoln at I picture him like the Lincoln Monument, and he just rises. Like I've never seen this, by the way. This is what goes through my mind when someone mentions that. Like you're just driving down the road at 3 in the freaking morning, tall dude with a freaking top hat somewhere.
Okay, well, one of our previous guests, Cassie Moon, she posted something about that on Facebook the other day. How she saw that and she laughed because she found the hat to be ridiculous. But apparently, it's a common thing. Like a lot of people have seen a man in a fucking top hat, you know, a dark figure in a top hat, and he's one of those shadow people, and the shadow people have also been fucking seen a lot, but the shadow people it can be debunked because what are you seeing? A shadow. So it could be that you just thought you saw a shadow, but fucking, you know, there's nothing there. Anyways, no, so yeah, speaking of fucking somebody appearing in the middle of the road, down here on Jackson and I don't remember the name of the road, but it's before you get to Jackson and Jackson. There's a Gold's Gym, and across from that is it's this fucking plaza place. It's like a sushi place and a fucking GNC. But behind that is kind of like a fucking canal of some sorts. Well, a few years ago, a man committed suicide there. He drowned himself, and it came out in the news that his girlfriend had cheated on him, and I don't know what the fuck else. The guy had a bad day, so he decided to fucking drown himself. But then, if you rewind a few years before that, um, my brother, I should probably get my brother on the fucking Halloween episode later this year. My brother was I don't know if he was driving. No, yeah, I think he was driving, and he passed by that fucking canal, and later on down the road before he reached the fucking stoplight, he was coming into Hidalgo. Um, that he saw a lady fucking walking. This was like at 2, 3 at night. He saw a lady walking off the side of the road, and if you've been down that road, you know that there's no sidewalk. So she was walking on grass, I guess, or on the fucking street. Pretty sure she was walking on the street because my brother tells me, and I'm probably fucking confusing this story with another story, that yeah, that somebody in the car was like, "Oh, what the fuck?" Because it was a bunch of guys in the fucking car, but that the fucking girl had gotten onto inside the fucking car in front of the guy that was sitting in the back. I guess it was like a fucking wagon. It was like the driver, the passenger, the sofa thing with the fucking three passengers, and then the guy in the back, right? And then I think there was two guys, and then the fucking ghost lady appeared in between those fucking two guys, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And as it turns out, that yeah, there's this lady that shows up around that time at night, walking, and she'll be hitchhiking, right? Like she'll fucking oh, I just got the chills. She'll get inside your car, right? And you have to take her to wherever the fuck it is she's going. And that reminded me of another hitchhiker story. But I think this was in San Juan, where somebody that a friend of mine knows was out partying, right? And then
Really?
yeah, and then they gave a ride to this. I think it was a guy. They gave a ride to that person, and then they drove them exactly to where they wanted. And the guy was like, "Okay, wait here," and goes in the house. And so they were fucking waiting and shit. And then apparently, out of the fucking corner of the house, they see this really big fucking dog, right? And it starts barking at them. And I mean big, like it was almost as big as the house. So then the guy fucking takes off, right? They
So,
fucking leave the person there. What?
so Severus, the big dog.
Yeah. They fucking hightail it out of there, and the dog runs towards them. And then there was another dog on the other side barking at them, chasing them down the fucking street. And eventually they lost. It's not that they lost the dogs, but that the dogs stopped. Like I guess they reached the fucking territory and they fucking stopped. And the guy was freaking out. He was like, "Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit!" Um,
And my life just flickered. Putting that out there.
yeah, it's probably nothing. What happened? Yeah, this was so long ago. I don't remember. But wow, I should probably have these people on for the fucking all October. Do a whole month of fucking scary stories.
Really should, dude. I even write them sometimes. So I mean, legit. When I was younger, I tripped out some friends in school growing up. They thought the story I wrote was real, pure bullshit, pure fucking bullshit. But they thought, did that really happen? No, dude. I just know that cemetery, and I have friends, and we just walk around town most of the time. So we were kids, man. We were like 12. So it's like anything possible if I really think about it. Nothing
Yeah,
happened. We didn't fall in a pit where there was a crazed maniac who wanted to cut us up for experimentation. So that did not happen. putting it out there. But it was a really cool story.
Yeah, that sounds very Hollywood, very fucking Hostel like. You know the movie Hostel, not that it's Hostel.
Hey,
God
you want
damn.
a hostile work environment and crap, man? Dude, sometimes I get that at my hotel. Not the chainsaw, just crabby people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Know what happened. Yeah, I'm gonna bring this up to Tony and be like, because I brought it up last October, and he was like, nah, we should just save it for the fucking Halloween episode. And then
I
yeah,
got
then
and then.
yeah, and then we did the fucking Halloween episode, and uh we did most of it on just trivial shit. And then like I was like, this is my shot. And I went ahead and I blurted out, not blurted out, but I went ahead and I fucking spoke about McDowell's Hole, and I spoke about some other thing. I don't remember. But yeah, it's in our Halloween episode. If our audience wants to, if our listeners want to go back and fucking listen to that, and I think it might be a lot easier to find on YouTube under completely inappropriate podcast. Um, yeah, but that happened. So, what else has happened? I don't know.
Did you hear about Lovecraft? Like they're making a show about him, Lovecraft Town, or something along the lines. I think it's gonna be on HBO or something.
Really?
Yeah, it's like Lovecraft USA or something along the lines. But just Google it. And
I'm. Uh-huh.
and I mean, I'm kind of curious about what it's gonna entail. I mean, it looks like racism in a sense because everything that's going on in society today. I'm an advocate for justice, of course, but I mean, society be crazy. So, anyways, Hollywood's making a thing about it, and good for Hollywood, trying to suck all our money like they always do.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so they're making something about him, and I don't really know what it entails. There may be some racial stuff, and some alien stuff. I don't really know what's going on. I just saw a preview of it a while back, so something to look into.
Well, I remember hearing that somebody somewhere wanted to cancel Lovecraft because he was a racist.
I mean, he was, man. He was in Rhode Island, and he had such hatred towards anyone. So,
Yeah, and I'm like, well, there is the name of his cat, which some of us know what his name was. Not everyone. Should I say what the name of his cat was?
I mean, that's up to you. This is completely inappropriate. How we doing?
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, it could be that he was racist. I mean, the name of his cat was Nigger Man. So,
That's weird. That's
yeah,
harsh.
I think it was because he was black, and it wasn't really intended as a racial thing. It's just, you know, he's a black cat, and if he were a man, he'd be a nagger.
I mean, this is it's all types of weird, man. Like, I know some people who have cats that are black. I mean, I have one that we call her Panther. So, yeah.
Yeah, I used to have a cat. I named him Cat, though.
What's up?
Yeah, I didn't give him a racial slur as a name. No, I just named him Cat.
Well, we named her Panther because she was black like a little panther kitty, like tiny, adorable.
Oh, you should have named it T'Challa.
Mm. Actually, I should have named her Blair for Soul Leader.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna give me a black cat. I'm gonna name him T'Challa.
Up to you, man. I'm just like Soul Leader, so I wouldn't name it like that.
Yeah, name him T'Challa so he can be my mini Black Panther. And every time I see him, be like Black Panther.
But yeah, so I don't know what's gonna happen with that show, but yeah, man. I mean, came up with half of the stuff he's written. But I mean, there's video games based on it. There's like Bloodborne. Bloodborne's kind of one of those games, so it's pretty interesting. It was, and I quote, this is from some guy I used to talk to. It was Lovecraft as a video game. So, pretty cool. I mean, you guys should check that game out if you haven't. I mean, it's been a minute, so y'all should check it out. But it's a good game. Got aliens and stuff, and it's really interesting. Now, no, to be perfectly honest with you, I have not finished it. Don't judge me. I have things to do, guys. The majority of the time.
Yeah, there's this game I played a few months ago. Came out, I think, 2 years ago, 2018. It's a Lovecraft game called The Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, I mean, you know, Rick and Morty's got Cthulhu too, since we're talking about pop culture right now too.
Yeah.
What are you? I mean, I want to see Cthulhu on Rick and Morty. This should be a thing. Justin Rowland, if you're watching, I mean, I don't know if you are, but if you are, we demand Cthulhu's head or something. Something with Cthulhu. Come on, Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Advertising.
Yeah, whatever. No, I fucking went back and played just the final fucking chapter, I guess. Just the last few minutes of it, trying to fucking change the outcome of the story. But I couldn't because it was one of those kind of like choose your own destiny kind of things. And I went back and I tried changing the outcome to where I'm not gonna say, but yeah, I tried changing the ending of the fucking game, and I couldn't. It was like fucking. It had to be done. I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's how it ends. Anyways, so this is how this ends. Unless you want to add something else.
I mean, I got nothing else, man. I mean, I just got ideas.
Okay, great. So this is how this ends. You can catch us on Instagram with all your Tony Has the Rona updates at CI Podcast. You can catch us on the Twitterverse under Completely Inapp. You can catch us on Facebook and YouTube and BitChute under Completely Inappropriate Podcast. And we are signing off with this week's guest co-host, Alyssa. Yeah. And my sign off is, as usual, be excellent to each other. And you should already, and it should play already in your head what Tony says, and find your happy. And we all know how that really ends. It really ends with, and party on, dudes. So, so yeah, we will catch you next week when hopefully we have Tony on. Probably not because it's 2 weeks. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, great. Bye.